Thank you so much.
Yeah, G, thank you so much. You touched so many hearts and souls. I don't know if you can see all the Kleenex being passed around. I mean, in a good way.
And you're welcome.
We'll take you up on that. So around us, we see bright, sunshiny days and all the colors of the rainbow. What makes these images so extraordinary is that they were drawn by school children in Hiroshima 2 years after the United States dropped an atomic bomb on that city. So our first slide shows what a 4-year-old saw that morning. This is not one of the students at the schools that All Souls have. So that's what it looked like to a 4-year-old. The Japanese called it pikadan. Flash, boom. A blinding flash of light brighter than the sun was followed by a searing blast of heat, and deadly radioactive black rain fell. So the second slide shows what a 44-year-old Asai Kiyoshi witnessed when the bomb was dropped on his city. The Prefectural Industry Promotion Building had been completed in 1915. In Kiyoshi's woodcut, the building is surrounded by flames. You can't really see it, and it's probably just as well, but thousands of dead people. Fire, darkness, death. Some survivors thought they were in Buddhist hell. This wood carving is entitled Evening Glow over Hiroshima. And you'll remember the bomb was dropped at 9:45 in the morning. So in the third slide, a teenager that day who was riding the bus remembered people jumping off and running after the pikadan. The heat and radiation were unbearable, in many cases unsurvivable, as this image shows. One girl remembers jumping with her mothers and siblings into stagnant water. As soon as they came out, their clothes dried instantly. The heat was that intense. Others ran to the river to counter the burning. Iri and Toshi Maruki were artists who traveled to Hiroshima 3 days after the blast in search of family members. They explained, 3 years passed before we began to paint what we had seen. They couldn't paint for 3 years. They created monumental Hiroshima panels recording what they saw and experienced. But here's a photograph of how Hiroshima actually looked after the atomic bomb was dropped. And then another of all that remained of a Buddhist temple. Now, if we look around us at the pictures from a Hiroshima schoolyard, created only a little over 2 years later, in 1947, think about how the children had returned to the skeletal remains of a concrete building, huddling together on benches in an unheated building. My colleague, Reverend Ma Parties, minister of All Souls Unitarian Church, observed, for many Japanese, the art of the hibakusha, or survivors of the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, is sacred. Most hibakusha art is by adults, and as we just saw, depicts gruesome, apocalyptic images of bombed-out Japan. But these children's drawings could not have been more different. They are vibrant, colorful depictions of life abundant, bright kites, children playing baseball, a classroom of smiling students, cherry trees in bloom. So children from All Souls had collected a half-ton of art supplies for the children in Hiroshima. This slide shows children in Hiroshima holding up the colored pencils sent by the children of All Souls. And in return, the children of All Souls opened boxes from Hiroshima, which contained 75 thank you letters, several Japanese comic books, 2 rag dolls, and a book of 48 watercolor and crayon drawings. The children of All Souls each took 1 thank you letter from Japan and wrote a thank you letter in return. And through these exchanges, the children on opposite sides of the war, on opposite sides of the Pacific Ocean, began to create and construct from the ruins a new world. When I look at this exhibit, I am reminded of Czesław Miłos's poem, On Prayer. You ask me how to pray to someone who is not. All I know is that prayer constructs a velvet bridge. Next slide. And walking it, we are aloft as on a springboard. Above landscapes the color of ripe gold, transformed by a magic stopping of the sun. That bridge leads to the shore of reversal, where everything is just the opposite, and the word is unveils a meaning we hardly envisioned. Notice I say we. There everyone separately feels compassion for others entangled in the flesh, and knows that if there is no other shore, we will walk that aerial bridge all the same. What I see in the pictures from a Hiroshima schoolyard is hope. Hope for a better and brighter tomorrow, hope for healing, hope for reconciliation, hope for the future, hope for the dawning of peace. This is our mission, to be messengers of hope, to bring hope where hope is hard to find, not only to each other, but also to those we have yet to meet. With this in mind, our morning offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and values. 15% of undedicated gifts will be returned to the community, to feed people who are hungry, to heal people who are addicted, to educate young women about the world